live. We're live. Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Welcome, Kickstarter audience. I got some people I got to introduce you to. Starting off first, you guys have seen Rachel Roberts before around these parts. Say hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Rachel's our sling designer on the outdoor line. She also designed our wallet, designed many, many things over the years, camera cubes. So much of her blood, sweat, and tears have gone into Peak Design over the years. I've got to my right Peter Lockett.
Good morning, team.
Good morning. Santi Basto.
Buenos días.
There we have it.
And Joseph Cunningham. Nice to meet you all.
And Joey Cunningham. Thank you for being here right now with us. I know it's kind of a crazy time out there in the world, and to think about outdoor bags or Kickstarters can be a little bit interesting, a little bit tough right now. I know actually I want to give a particular shout out to the hurricane victims in the southeast right now. I personally have never been touched by a natural disaster before, except this time my in-laws are really going through it in North Carolina. They're in the small town of Hot Springs. Community's been hit really, really hard, but they are banding together, and I think that they're going to make it through. But I know that a lot of people have been really, really touched by that, and so I just want to acknowledge these are crazy times. We got wars going on in the world. We got elections coming up. We got natural disasters. But you know what? Like, there's still there's a lot to be done out there in the world that needs to keep things moving forward. Sorry, I'm stumbling on these words a little bit, but just couldn't go without acknowledging that. So, with that said, thank you for being here. And I want to talk to you about some outdoor bags. Outdoor bags, we got a Kickstarter ending in 13 days. It's very exciting. And I know that we're saying that we're shipping those products out to you in January, but I think that we've got some good information for you that it might be a little bit better than that. So with some of that, I know we've got some questions lining up. Jen, the lovely Jen Marcis. Her first year as a Marcis here instead of Jen Howell.
This time. Greg was worried we were getting divorced when you introduced
Oh,
me as
did I
Howell
say
last
Jen
time.
Howell last time? Oh,
okay.
Greg, I'm so sorry, man. Jen Marcis here, everyone. Learn how to spell that name. What do we
Yeah,
got, Jen?
We have a good number of questions. Our first one here is, how well does the field pouch fit in the 7-liter sling?
Can we get a demo of that?
Interesting. Field pouch in the 7-liter sling. Do you happen to... Come on. You've got it right there. You got that question ahead of time.
Yeah, I did have that question ahead of time.
Okay.
Perfectly. It fits perfectly.
Was that with intention, or is that just good fortune?
Very
That's
much
just good.
intentional.
Oh, very much intentional.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Great. That was easy. Next question.
Next up, is there a way for moisture to escape from the external flex pockets, and can you show it?
Yeah, let's get it back.
Ooh, that's a good call.
We might be able to show it on camera. It's going to be pretty tricky, but yes, moisture will escape. Moisture will, Vic, bring your camera on up here. When it rains, the rain will fall onto the bag and penetrate into the kangaroo pockets and the side pockets. We went through extensive testing to identify where the water was pooling and how to best create channels for the water to escape. So at the bottom of the kangaroo pouch, we actually have this little stuff pocket here. This allows you to attach gear loops. But inside of here, I don't know if we can show you, but we actually have perforated holes in underneath this flap here, and that's designed to allow the water to drain out, and drain out quickly, I might add. And the pockets themselves as well, at the backside here, we also have a hole here, and that also allows the water to drain out. So yes, we have spent a little time thinking about that problem, and we have a great solution for that.
Awesome.
What's next, Jen?
How well suited is the 7-liter sling for everyday carry? Can you show where stuff like the phone, keys, wallet, etc. would go?
Back to you, Rach.
Back to me. Well, we'll take the field pouch out of here so I can show you guys the internal pockets. These are great for your AirPods, your keys, your sunglasses, your passport. And there are even more pockets on the inside for your batteries, your, smaller keys. I don't know. Smaller items go in those pockets. And then it doesn't stop there. We have a pocket on the front. I've heard a lot of people use this for their passport, actually, or their phone. But there is an additional pocket on the back where you can put a phone. And that's just a quick stash with a magnet to close it. So the 7 has a lot of different versatile pockets that can be used in a lot of different ways.
Why don't you talk about the oversized nature of the phone pocket so that
phones don't accidentally escape?
So, of course, we're getting new phones every year from various companies. So, the Pocket has a bit of a tighter dimension at the top, so that your phone doesn't just fall out if it's hanging from the side. So you have to put your phone in at a bit of an angle, and then that accommodates for bigger phones on the inside. That the Pocket is wider than the entrance.
Cool.
So there is a little bit of a fail-safe there.
Very cool. I'll also mention, I was just traveling with 7-liter sling on business trip in New York last week, and I roll with an iPad, 11.2 or something inch iPad Pro. It's got the keyboard cover on there, and it worked great having that in the sling as well. There is not, I'm not saying there's a separate laptop or excuse me, tablet sleeve, but that cover itself is rubberized and it works really well in the sling.
Next question is about the cloud color. Can you tell us more about it and how it holds up to heavy use? How does it handle dirt? Does it pick up stains? Will it yellow over time?
Why don't you jump in there?
Sure. Yeah. We put the cloud color through a bunch of testing before coming out with it. We wouldn't have come out with this color unless we were confident in it. And through outdoor use, the bag will show some dirt, but it is also easy to spot clean with a little bit of water and detergent. It'll come right out, just like the bone colorway that we've had on the market for years.
Yep. Yep. And you know, on the sling itself, you don't have. Yeah. Actually, I'm curious. What happens when we put one of these things in the washing machine? We do not recommend that, correct? Yeah. Go, Jay.
We don't recommend putting it in the washing machine. These fabrics are coated with, on our backpacks, we have a TPU coating here for the main face and bottom. And then for the roll top access and the sling main body, we have a PU coating on the inside. If you're gonna wash the bags, what you're gonna do is you're gonna raise the temperature, those coatings are gonna peel off. You really wanna hand wash these products. But we also have done extensive testing where we've dragged these products down along the mountains as we're hiking home to see how well the coatings will hold up, how they'll stain, how they'll bead in. And you know, we've been able to do a great job of cleaning them up, and they look, you know, close to new. So yeah, like Peter said, we've done a lot of extensive testing, whether it's isolated testing on the materials itself or with the finished products in field, to be confident in the cloud colorway. And we're excited for you guys to all see it in person because it's pretty striking and it's awesome.
Nice.
Next question, probably for me. Do you expect any shipping delays with the current port strike on the East Coast? Right now, no. It's very much just affecting the East Coast. All of our products are actually on boats on their way to the various locations. And so if there are any delays in LA, it's probably going to be expected for people shipping out now and rerouting stuff to LA. So that would be more like December, January. So our containers are ahead of that.
Got it. Do you think maybe it's a good time to talk about these products and where they're actually at? Because we're communicating to
production.
people that they'll be
Yeah,
they'll be
we don't have
shipping
any
in
questions
January.
on that, so you could go ahead and
I think you should go ahead and
talk
yeah.
about where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Lockett, who's on the panel here, has done a really good job getting these out of our manufacturer. It's a new manufacturer in Indonesia, so that has posed some of its own challenges. But yeah, these products are all currently on 7+ containers, specifically just for Kickstarter backers, and then we have another 7 or so for our wholesale accounts afterward. And these are estimated to be coming into ports around October 22nd-ish for the earliest locations through mid-November, November 8th. So we are hoping to lock down surveys within 24 to 48 hours after this campaign and then begin rolling fulfillment, hopefully within that next week and through mid-November. So I know a lot of people, we had said January, and we were kind of hoping to over-promise or under-promise and over-deliver here, and that's looking like it's going to happen this time. So.
First time ever, and the promise is still, I want to make clear, the promise is still January. We've been through this so many times. There are still unforeseen things that can happen. Generally, things are pretty safe at this point, But if you're here and joining us on the video here, I'm sure that this information will show up on the comment board, but let's call it a lot of reason to be optimistic that these bags are going to be in people's hands well before holiday.
Yeah, and for backers who have been with us before and we have done holiday shipping or November shipping for Kickstarter, a lot of time that gets really messy when we're right up against Black Friday and into December. So we really tried to push this time to make those land before the Black Friday week so that we're not butted up against that. And
There's
so we
some
did a good job with that.
magnetic force of the holidays and shipping that just ends up making all of our products seem to want to go through this time of year, and it does add challenges. Much appreciation to Jen, JoJo, and the other folks on our fulfillment teams, and a great job to everyone in getting these things to where they're at so far. Cool.
The next one from Adam says, "Tell Charles happy birthday and thanks for being a backer. It was his B-Day gift to himself."
My man. For Charles.
For Charles. And then the next question is, on the 45-liter backpack, can you show what the roll top looks like when the bag is stuffed to 45-liter capacity?
Yes.
I think we can handle that. We've got...
There you go. And then I got some extras for you here. I'll start pulling out some ultralight packing cubes. They're great. They work with our system and they help keep you organized, guys.
Unbelievable uptake right now on the ultralight packing cubes, and boy, am I happy about that, because there's no one who uses those products that doesn't absolutely love them. So great to see that people are taking advantage of that. Can we go? Let's see here. I think we can go more. Let's like really stuff this thing out. I think it's important to see how effective the cord can be at kind of doing that last little bit of sealing it up. There's a 2-liter, okay. You know, I think it's great that we're not using something like pillows, no cheater mechanisms there, but there you go, Pete.
Yeah, some of those packing tools, Pete, have camping utensils, cooking utensils, and you know, all your little bits and bobs when you're on the move. There we go.
There we go. Yep, it's really nice to have this extra cinching. Like for those who are just working with a zipper or something like that, you know, there's only so much that you can wrench on that sort of thing to get that extra little bit in there. And these cords here and the ability to really tug on these things is helpful when you're trying to get that extra little bit in there. Done quite a few overnight backpacking trips with this, and been at the limits quite a few times.
Great.
Cool.
I'm not sure what bag they're referring to, but it says, "Can you do something for that jiggling cord so we don't have to hide it in the bag every time? It will get stuck in trees and trunks and everything."
Magnet would be the best solution, but the thing is there's ferrous material that's in dirt, so if you're putting this face down every time, it would collect dirt. So we were...
Here we go, Sante.
Yeah, so I would advise you, if you have the cord and it's like dangling around, it's getting in the way, just tucking it into the front of the flap is the easiest solution because you're already up there. Another thing you can do when it's like not as packed out, so let me just cinch it a little bit more, is throwing it in the side pocket. That's also another solution. So throwing it to the side. And then also what you can do is just tuck it again behind the flap. And these are all like pretty quick and easy things you can do to just make sure that the cord isn't flapping around. I think the most successful one is just really tucking it behind the flap. And there you have it. It won't be in the way.
And you know, I was definitely concerned about that that dangly bit of cord for a while, but after a long time using the bag, I don't bother tucking it in, and I've never gotten it stuck on anything in all the time I've been using that, which is for well over a year I've been working with these prototypes. So.
Another question on the draw cord closure. They say, "I imagine the cord will wear through its sleeving over time and then be repairable. Can you speak to the durability testing on that closure?"
Yeah, for sure. You know, traditionally in most outdoor packs, you'll see nylon used with a drawstring cord. We decided to go up a notch, and we introduced ultra-high molecular polyethylene as the outer sheet of the cord. This is very similar to our anchor links, which a lot of you might already have on your cameras and know that they last. So the great thing about this outer sheet being ultra-weight polyethylene is that it's incredibly abrasion resistant. When we've cycle tested it, you barely see any fraying. When you compare that to the nylon breaks down. This thing goes and goes and goes, and we have yet to even get it to a fail point. So we're really confident you're going to have a very robust closure system for the lifetime of your product.
Which is also why we put a lifetime guarantee on these products. And we wouldn't have done that or gone into this construction method had we not had a lot of confidence that we were going to do that.
I think it's also worth noting, like we were so confident that like this is not a repairable item because we have not gotten the ability to see that break. So we very intentionally tucked that hardware in with full confidence that this is going to last for the duration.
Next question for the 25-liter backpack. Can you show the various sizes of camera cubes inside, specifically the small one, but maybe all
yes,
of them
let's
while we're
get
at
some.
it?
I think we can do that.
Some props here. For clarity, Jen, they wanted the small in here.
Yeah, but I think if we had other ones,
So this is the Medium camera cube, which was designed for this pack specifically. This Medium is actually the exact half the size of a large, and it's right in between a small and a medium size. It has a narrower side, which allows us to have a narrower bag, because we had designed the medium camera cube to work within the constraints of a max carry-on bag when we came out with the travel line. So turning this 90 degrees, we're able to get a slimmer profile, and it's actually a great camera cube for your kit because you can get a body with a long lens on there, like a 70 to 200, plus you can get your 24 to 70 in there, plus a prime lens. And what's nice with the ultralight packing cubes is that if you get a mesh version, getting the extra small mesh, I don't know if we have an extra small mesh around, but that is great for all your bits and bobs, like your cords for charging, your batteries, all the stuff that you would normally put in one of these little cavities here in the camera cube. You can now take that out and put it elsewhere in the bag, so you're not taking up space in your camera cube. So if I were designing or fitting out a kit for someone, I would only be putting camera products in here that need to get protected in order for me to size down my cube as much as possible. Because the last thing you want to do is carry a larger cube taking up actual empty space in your bag, taking up more space. What you want to do is be able to size this down so you have more room in your bag for the additional things you want to bring, like jackets, food, water, all the other little props that you might need for whatever adventure you're going on.
That's awesome, Petey. I suspect, there's probably a number of folks in the audience who have other size camera cubes. Can we get like a small, even though it's not the perfect size to go in there? I'm sure people want to see like what a small looks like. Also, I don't believe we can, a medium cannot fit in it, right?
A medium cannot fit in this because the medium width is this width, the longer width of the medium. So this is the cube that is really designed for the 20 liter, and the small is actually something that is not designed for it. We can use an extra small on top. Brandon, I'll take that.
There's a small right there.
There's a small.
That sucker will fit in there.
Nope.
Well, yeah.
Not widthwise. It has to go vertically if you're
Yeah.
going to do it. The downside to it is you won't be able to really have your sixth side of the camera pulled back, but you could carry a small in there. Just we don't recommend it with having the sixth side open because you have a loose side in there.
Yep. That makes sense.
Jen, what do you got next?
Someone's saying, hoping you guys can make the 2-liter sling with 2 zippers on the main compartment so that we can wear it on either side. And also, can you show the 2-liter sling on camera?
Sure, yeah, 2-liter sling. Rach, you want to speak to why we chose 1 zipper versus 2?
Yeah. So 2-liter sling, for reference, only has 1 zipper slider on this, and it's primarily for simplicity. It's a very small bag, so you don't really need 2 zipper sliders, but it makes it so that you always know which side the zipper slider is going to end on, and you can just know that you're going to be able to open it if it's always on the right-hand side.
I think people are probably suggesting it presents a problem in sling. I actually don't understand necessarily the problem that they're suggesting, but if you're wearing it on your right side, is that something that, doing my best to play devil's advocate and make sure that inquisitive backers get their questions really answered here.
So, for reference, the 7-liter has 2 zipper sliders on it.
Yep.
And that was initially put on this bag because it meant that you could easily close the bag from either side and kind of leverage with both zippers. Because this is such a small bag, it didn't really need that kind of leverage, so we just used 1.
Okay.
Choosing which side the zipper was going to land on was a bit of a toss-up, and 50% of the people wanted them on one side, 50% wanted them on the other.
Right. So if I'm like, I think a normal sling wearer, so I'm always going like this. Actually, I think I probably have a problem going like this, but I don't necessarily see how that is worse. Like that seems to work just fine.
If you're holding it like in the back
Uh-huh.
and you want to just open up something like right in the front, you have to
Yep.
like pull it all the way around versus you don't have to do that
I see.
on the other
So if
side.
you're
I see.
carrying it on this
So
shoulder, then the zipper
once
slider would-
again, we have made the right-hand industrial complex a worse issue than it always is. I mean, it's 9-1, folks. What are you going to do? You can't design for the lefties out there. You'll be, this. Just kidding. I don't know.
I'm a right-hander who wears it on the left side, so.
Yeah. Yep. I think it's a fair question, but I'm like you say, Rachel. It is a super simple bag, and I think it makes sense that we've just stuck with the 1.
More sling questions. Do you have any recommendations on attaching the water bottle to the 2-liter or a 7-liter sling?
I actually did this in New York because I was kind of curious to see how it would work. The elastic cords at the bottom here, obviously it depends on your water bottle. If you have a perfectly cylindrical water bottle, it's going to struggle to stay in there. They're like you're going to be able to get a nice tight grip on that, but there you go. It actually it feels like it kind of feels like a nice spot for it. I don't know how much I would trust that it's going to stay there. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of like geometry here that can catch, but this is something where it could kind of slide out. So I wouldn't really say that it's designed for that specifically. Would you disagree with that, Rach?
I mean, I totally agree with the sentiment. A water bottle with a little bit more catch points is maybe a better use case for a hiking bag. But it is intended to be able to carry our tripod and jackets, that kind of things that you don't necessarily want to use the main volume for. There's a couple tricks you could maybe try, like.
Let's see here. Let's get. We know that works, but I think water bottle carry is interesting. Fill this up for me. Give me worst case scenario, Brendan.
Yes, sir.
Give me some heft on that thing.
When I was using it on a trip in Poland, I used just a carabiner and clicked it to the strap, and it worked pretty well. It also helped keep it weighted and in place, and the straps are comfortable enough where it isn't too bad.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen people do.
Careful, it's really hot.
Well.
Just kidding.
Thanks, B.
I've seen people do all 3 methods. External carry, inside the volume, carabiner. I've seen people attach it to the strap itself. I've seen people attach it to the loop here. You know, there's a handful of ways to do it. It's pretty tall as well, so you could fit like a small water bottle vertically.
In our worst case scenario, like, you know, can it pull this off? The answer is absolutely, it can. Like, that gets really, really snug in there. I mean, I don't know that you're going to climb a mountain with that and have a guaranteed that it's not going to fall out, but it does a pretty good job.
What I would do is I would figure out which side you're going to have as your downside, and I would put the bottle facing that way around the smaller side just to constrain the neck.
Oh, there you go.
And then that way you're prevent the slip from coming out
Yep.
as you go around. But I think it's bottle to bottle dependent. Also, if you do have a carabiner, depending on what kind of your dangle tolerance is, and if you're really trying to have hands-free moments, there are points and other points where you'd be able to lash this to the strap on this side, or even potentially pass this this strap through any pass-through that you have. But you will have a little bit of dangling. So you're able to get here, you're able to come in on this. You can get it on, and you can have it like this
Off he goes.
if you wanted to, and then you could pop it off and have a little drink. Very much like a little lens behind you.
Very cool. Thanks, Jen.
We have 426 people watching and climbing, so.
Oh my goodness.
Lots of it just went up like 20 people in the last question. so.
Okay, wow. All right.
Still on the 7-liter, someone's asking, if you install the cube, is there any space left for accessories more than just the cube in the bag?
Here, extra small.
A lot of thumping. Okay. I'm going to keep holding this, everyone. Sorry about that.
And then let's see if there's some stuff in this one that we can stuff in here. But basically, we wanted a fit that was snug, but also loose enough to have room for extras around the side and the back. And what's nice is if you do actually fill this up with a spare little battery charger, sunglasses, sunscreen, things that you might, phone, keys, wallet, you can easily pack this thing out and stay organized. What other accessories do we have that we could pop in there?
Do you have a
Great. It's kind of a surprise what might be in here. We got a random deployable water bottle that we could shove in here.
towel?
Little pack towel.
A little pack towel.
I think the long story short on that is there's definitely room beyond that. I was carrying around my my
towel on the
iPad
side.
and my extra small camera cube with my Fuji last week, and had plenty of room in the additional pockets for kind of the small things that would accommodate that as well.
Dew bags on the other side.
You keep fiddling there. I believe you'll figure that out. What else you got, Jen?
The next one, trying to understand how the 45 and the 25 look against like the everyday backpack, like trying
Oh.
to understand, because it is right in the middle there. Can we see
Sure.
those three together?
This looks like a 30 liter every
30
day.
liter every day. 25 liter. 45 liter.
And do we have a 20 liter every day?
Yeah.
Cool. There we go.
What's that?
Okay. Ooh, that looks like, is it V21?
VX21.
VX21.
Ocean edition.
Ocean Edition. Come at that. Obviously, the 30 liter has a lot of volume going this direction. Just doesn't necessarily pack that flat. There we go. There's our 20. Okay.
Bring
these
the nice thing
all
about
back
the
on the
outdoor
same
bags is that they
plane.
can really slim down. I mean, there's
Yep.
this is it's really nice to make an unstructured bag. Just that we've made structured bags for such a long time, and it's wonderful to put out outdoor bags that are unstructured, can really be used for multiple reasons and use cases, whether it's urban carry all the way to outdoor adventure carry. These new bags can do it all, and they're really wonderful to add to the
Something
lineup.
I loved last week is we were boarding very last people to board on the flight. They were about to take and check I had a 45-liter outdoor bag with me, and I just went into the top, pulled out a packable tote that had a bunch of extra stuff in it, and then I said, nope, I'm good. This is going under my seat. And it did. I was able to put the 45-liter under my seat, which, like, crucially, I mean, the gate check is just the worst. And if you're going into JFK Airport, you're in for an extra 40 minutes on that. So being able to put this under the seat is a cool feature. You're struggling to do that with our 45-liter travel backpack. That's for sure.
And I want to build on that too. The ultralight packing cubes are just a great accessory to add on to your bags, because if you take out an ultralight packing cube and you have a flat hook carry strap, you can easily turn that into a carryable bag with no hands, an extra small, an extra small, and even a small carry very well. I actually brought an extra small to a concert this past weekend at Portola Fest.
You went to Portola?
I did, yeah.
Damn,
And
wow.
and carrying a jacket slung over the strap is just a great way where you don't even have to carry your actual coat, and it can also just go right under your jacket. Doesn't take up any bulk. It's a great little travel accessory.
Man, I felt like a cranky old man. Portola Festival from my house is just like blaring. I've got family in town. I'm like, Mom, Dad, it'll shut down by midnight, I promise. Anyway, I'm glad you had a good time, Pete.
Next question is talking about the 45-liter. Can you provide some details on the shape, size, and materials for the frame? Someone else is also concerned that it seems all the weight seems to be on the zippers when the hip belt is being used. Can you speak to that?
You're going to have to come out from behind.
All the weight is on the zippers. Let's talk about that.
So we've actually done extensive testing. It's got two frames, one in the floating panel and then one in the interior of the bag. And it's spring steel, so it's ultra lightweight. It's also not going to oxidize. And in addition to that, it's going to create that support. So you're wondering if it's going to peel off, and there's going to be a lot of peel from the zipper. We've done extensive testing, and it really doesn't, because it's mainly pulling on the floating panel. So all that support is going to be on this panel. And we have this really nice curvature, and it's able to support all the weight. And in addition to that, you're able to help with the load lifters in order to create sort of like get that weight off your hips and onto your shoulders as well. So there's a little bit of balance that was done here, and a lot of thought and design work in order to make sure that that wasn't going to be an issue. In addition to that, our zippers are really strong, highly abrasive, because we also have UHW MPE integrated into them. And so I think there's been a lot of like checks and balances to make sure that we aren't going to have any issues in this area.
There was also, Jen, can you just repeat that question?
Can you provide some details on the shape, size, and materials used for the frame?
But then there was also a question about the zipper.
Yeah,
the zippers.
the concern that all the
Concern that-
weight was going to be on the zippers if you're using the hip belt.
Specifically when using the hip belt. So
Yeah.
let's kind of take a look at what happens. Joey, you want to
Easy.
go?
Okay, so the way this bag is designed, we have a N-style zipper, all right? That means the zipper would be loaded on the side, the top, and the other side. The bottom is sewn directly into the bottom panel here, so all the load from the hip belt is going to be distributed into this seam here. This seam is a standard construction, and it's going to be bomb-proof, just like any other bag you'd receive on the market. So I have no concerns around the durability and construction around this area. It's going to distribute the load perfectly.
How well does a bear canister fit in the 45-liter backpack?
We have
The 45 liter is not actually designed to carry a bear canister of the traditional type. There is now new market leaders where you have now more collapsible type bear canisters. That's recommended to use the 45. If in the future we decide to come out with a larger, more superior overnight multi-day pack, we would definitely make sure that fits all the variety of bear canisters out there.
And what Joey is referring to is he's talking about putting it horizontally in the bottom of the bag, which is kind of, for those who worked with bear canisters, the way to do it. Of course, it fits vertically right now, and so you could get it vertically in with a, in the same way that you could with any other volume of that size.
Next question is asking about the feasibility of attaching the 7-liter to the chest with the 45-liter as a photography setup. I know we show like the 2-liter guy, but can you do that with the 7-liter and
Sure.
the cube?
I can demo for you, Santi.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. So Joey's going to demo here. We actually designed into this feature, so it was thought out. We also had some beta testers that are professional photographers that love the idea and have been using it in that sense. So what you essentially do is you get your gear loops, and there is a loop. Hold on, he's setting it up. There's a loop on top of your open pocket that you cow hitch. So you'll cow hitch the.
So I would have set this up before. Obviously, on-body setup is what it's all about. Really puts you to the limit.
Yep. So he's got his gear loops, and then those gear loops attach to the variable webbings there on the sides of the sling, and then you can just adjust to your most comfortable height. And so depending on your body type, you're going to have different adjustment there, but it's pretty seamless and it works really well. So if you want it a little bit lower, you just loosen it up. And I know this is not a question you guys asked, but it also can attach to your hip belt.
Yeah, so then if I had my hip belt out, which I can't quite demonstrate right now, is I could remove the attachment here, and then I could sling these open and attach these down to my hip belt as well to further stabilize this pack. Why is that nice? Because if I'm scrambling around some rocks, this is gonna float out. It might hit off a rock and damage your gear. So it's nice to be able to have that extra point of security, which is also an option when setting this up.
And you can do the same for your smaller sling as well. So
So we're locked and loaded here, strapped into a backpack, haven't we? So then this one's not detached. But essentially what you do is you can open the gear loops that are at the bottom of the camera cube, attach them here next to your adjuster. You can cinch that up. You can cinch this one up over here too. All right, now this is fully connected to my body. So when I lean away, you can see it's fully harnessed onto my body, whereas before it pivoted away. That means that this is really securely attached to my body. It means opening and closing is a dream. Getting in there, getting your gear, you're good to go. Just avoid the bears.
Another question is it possible to have the luggage pass through as an option in like what I'm going to call horizontal mode like we have for all of our travel backpacks? I know we show it in like the vertical mode with the top, but is there a way to do it?
So-
have a rollover.
horizontal mode is not recommended. You really want to do it vertically. And by doing so, you would add a external carry loop or a gear loop. And you would attach it to the back panel. And Joey's demoing it now.
I think I think people have seen probably from the video the ability to do it vertically. They're going to show it, but and I understand that you're saying it's not recommended to do it horizontally, but it absolutely can be done horizontally, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the idea by having this piping that runs the whole perimeter of the bag. So I think should go ahead and show that. But then I think it,
And so if you are going to do it horizontally, have done this in the past. I tighten up my shoulder straps as tight as they go, and I use that as a pass-through.
that's the one way to handle it. Yep, I think that, yeah, definitely there's gonna be benefits to doing it that way, for sure.
This person was specifically asking because some of the handles are pretty short, like on a full-size
Yeah,
luggage.
right.
You don't have that kind of height of the trolley.
So let's go and configure it so that we could do it horizontally, which you can do, again, with the same, all you end up doing is connecting just point to point on here. I actually prefer utilizing the elastic gear loops for this. One of the reasons is because they come pre-attached inside these. Oh, there we go. It's a little bit hard for being so high up, but okay. So they're already coming attached like so. Should we get this on the ground so that we can just have a more natural stance toward that? There you go. There you go, just like that. So I was very pleasantly surprised at how well these elastic cord gear loops work for the luggage attachment. Totally turns it into a workable feature for us. Thank you very much, Pete.
More travel-related questions with outdoor. Did
Yep.
the outdoor bags have any security aspects like the other bags, i.e. interlocking zippers, etc.?
Negative.
Another question, how water resistant is it without the rain cover? Has that been tested?
Just to touch back on it isn't incorporated into it, but another can you pass me one of the bags? So you know how we have the loops that go around the whole bag, and you're able to kind of hang everything. These webbing loops here. If you do find yourself being in a sketchy area, you can pass this through, and that will create a sense of security because now you can't actually pull down on your zipper. And same with the
back panel.
The back panel.
Of a concern because it's against your back.
It is against your back, but if you do end up finding yourself maybe falling asleep at the airport, you don't want anyone to get in there. You could do the same thing there, right? So now they are locked in there.
That's pretty clever. I like that, Santi. Sorry, I didn't even recognize that feature. And I suppose no reason you couldn't throw additional security in by throwing the elastic gear loop through these and then looping attaching it back over to the cord. So yes, for the creatively inclined, you can do damn near anything with these bags. That's a great point. Cool. And you had asked another one about.
Oh no, that was it for that. Or the water resistance.
The water resistance, yes.
Without rain cover.
The testing that's been done without the rain cover. How does it perform?
Yeah, so we came up with many tests to evaluate this. We have isolated tests where we take the fabric and evaluate the performance of the material itself. But then the most important thing is when it comes to a finished sewn good, we really want to make sure that we're protecting the user's gear. So we've done a plethora of tests, from rain tests, aggressive shower tests, and then using it in the outdoors on cycles home in the rain or walks home in the rain, which is miserable because I did a lot of that. And essentially what we did was we identified, if there was any leak, like major areas where it was drawing water in, we changed materials on those findings and we prevented the water from being soaked internally. How it compares to the competitor bags, what we did was we weighed our bags against the other bags under the same test scenarios and identified that our bags were actually taking on less weight. And that was a big win because that means we're shedding water quicker and faster than those other bags. And internally, it was still bone dry. So in general use in a general downpour, you're pretty good. Like your gear's safe. But if you're going to be like hiking through tornado, for instance, like you're definitely going to want to strap on a rainfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Joey's from Ireland. They don't have tornadoes there. Do they have tornadoes there? I'd be surprised if they did.
We don't have snakes
anyway,
either.
We could talk about
Typhoon
hurricanes.
might have been better.
Yeah, typhoon. Yeah.
Another question is, someone's concerned about the see-throughness of the cloud color.
see-throughness of the cloud color.
Yeah, so for us it's a little bit of a feature. We actually think it's pretty sick. When it comes to the ultralight packing tools, it's a massive feature because we chose a really lightweight material so that you can actually almost see in through the packing tool and see what you've got in it to allow you to identify one packing tool against another. Now, when it comes to the backpacks, we actually have internal liner pockets here, so you're not actually going to see the contents of your front pockets here to an exterior user, all right? It's very difficult in general with the backpacks to see through them and see that contents. And then with the slings are made of a lighter material. You can kind of see through them, definitely not as much as the ultralight packing tools. And yeah, we just think it helps create more depth and into the bag. And honestly, again, we think it's a feature. Like, these are undyed fabrics. That means they're way more sustainable, and yeah, we're pretty gung ho on this cloud color, guys. I don't know if you kind of got that note. It looks really good.
Next question here is, can you show how to mount a hydration pack inside of the kangaroo pocket?
Yes.
And maybe while you're demoing that, another question about materials and overall design build says, the backpacking community is switching over to ultralight materials. Why is your pack significantly heavier? They're not expecting a 2-pound pack, but 4 pounds is a lot.
Do any of those have back panels that they're referencing?
They don't have those details.
Sorry, back access?
Don't get defensive now. Let's just answer the question.
That's all that I have context. And will it be addressed before launch? Yeah.
Will the weight be addressed before launch? Well, we've shipped the bags already, so there's no changes that we're going to be doing between what we've advertised and what we're shipping.
I think, yeah, we've explained this before to some degree. You know, Peak Design is creating a bag that maintains a ton of access, a ton of comfort, and a ton of features and functions. We very much looked at the kind of the ultralight packs that are out there from Z-Packs and Hyperlight when we were studying this. We've got multiple here. They just don't do it for our type of customer, is kind of how we feel. Our customer is already going to be carrying a little bit more gear, and they really depend on more of that feature and more of that function. So we're deeply aware that there is some trend very much in the outdoor, especially the through hiking community, where those super light packs are very desirable. It's kind of a different thing than hiking with a bunch of camera gear. And either way, I think that there's plenty of folks who would say that on balance, having the additional features that create the comfort is worth the extra 2 pounds, or really it's about an extra 1.5 pounds. Even the ultralight ones of comparable size, they're usually closer to 2.5 pounds. Ours are just a little bit south of 4, I think.
Awesome. We've got about 12 minutes left.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Cool. So what I did here was I attached a gear loop to the top of the hydration pouch, and then I just hooked it onto the, what are we calling this thing? You know, we had an internal name for it. Cord rail. You attach it to there, then obviously you cinch your bag. Then you're going to pass your hydration hose through the load lifter triangle wing. If you don't like to do this, you can also just pass it through this loop here that's at the bottom, which is a little bit easier. We designed it for it to be done in either scenario, and then there you have it. You know, if this is kind of in your way, you can always tuck it into your pocket if you don't like it swinging. But for the most part, you know, this is the way it's done.
Very cool.
Okay, so about 10 minutes, some kind of future-looking questions. People are asking, are there any plans for a 15-liter backpack? Need one as a personal item for traveling? And then in the opposite directions, any plans for a 75-liter or just larger in general? People want your bean spilling, Pete.
People want the bean. Is that we've reached that time? We have reached that time. I'm going to say yes. You can expect a 15-liter bag that will come with this product, or excuse me, that will come with this line. We're trying to figure out the timing of that, because you can also expect not a 75, but a 65 liter pack from Peak Design that is battle tested for the multi-day outdoors. We've already got samples in office of both of those products. That being said, I think the 65 has a fair amount more time to go, and it's still kind of being determined how much we're going to push on that 15 liter right now. I think I can probably leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not going to be something that you're going to be like, oh, surprise, the 15 liter is here right now. It's going to be coming further down the road and will be significantly feature reduced from what you see here.
And then a bunch of people chattered in the comments when we rolled out that think tank roller bag and want to know where that PD roller bag is.
Not on camera. I don't think Bridget in the old legal department would be too happy if we used that one. But the rumors are true, and it's hard to think of a product that I am more personally excited about. Cannot wait to show it to you. I don't know. I need not even say more about that. It's going to be a banger, and it's going to be out early next year.
And then another question about other products. Are y'all ever going to make the straps more comfortable on the everyday backpack? And how do these straps compare to the travel backpack and the everyday backpacks?
These are by far our most comfortable straps. So you don't have to worry about fitment. We've increased the density, durometer. There's definitely like twice as much cushion. They're meant for the outdoors. The 45 liter is really, really comfortable, and same as the 25. A little bit about the construction. The 25 liter, the foam is actually rolled, so you get twice as much foam on the shoulder, which allows you to carry more weight, and it also allows for it to dry quicker. So it's definitely more feature rich. You can just tell by the side profile here how much padding you're getting. We did extensive testing. We sampled probably more than 100 shoulder straps to get to the right foam density and durometer. So these were heavily tested throughout different body types, different sizes, putting different weights, and we're pretty excited.
Cool. I think the main question is, are we going to roll changes like this into the travel line or the everyday line? And I think I'll no, certainly not until we see updated versions of those, and that's not something that the crowd should be expecting anytime in the very near future. Certainly, we've got we're kind of constantly seeding the future product lines with the ideas and the things that we want to change and fix. And I would think that if and when eventually we come out with a next version of the everyday line, a next version of the travel line, we'll definitely carry whatever learnings we have on straps forth. But nowhere super close on those.
And then someone said, Peter said on the Petapixel podcast recently that PD's cash flow is more challenging than ever. Can you talk to some of the factors affecting that? They say, I'm already giving you all of my disposable income.
Well, much gratitude for that. We appreciate the disposable income there. Yeah, exactly. I got the problem is I got my video guy buying 4 machetes for our upcoming Carryology collab. Or do we have
More bean spilling.
more beans spilled? I'm trying to think how deep I want to get into this. It's very multifactorial. There's a lot going on in kind of the world that we play in the general business climate. You could go all the way back up to interest rates and Fed and uncertainty. Generally speaking, consumer spending is down. Peak Design has been able to stave some of that off by launching a good amount of new products in recent months, but across the outdoor industry, certainly. I just heard yesterday that Patagonia had to lay off 41 people at their headquarters. So there is absolutely something in the water right now around consumer spending that makes this a challenging climate for us. Another thing is that we have some really honking major developments that we've been working on for a very, very long time. That's in the form of roller. Do people know about the professional tripod? We got a really cool new tripod coming out. Like, these things have been under works for quite some time, and they ain't cheap. They ain't cheap. We have we have a beautiful new headquarters, and we have a much larger team than we've ever had. Some of that has been in anticipation of some of these products potentially arriving a little bit earlier, but also just a lot of it takes a lot of work these days to make Peak Design products and all of the materials that we have that support them. And so, I also will say that we, not that the people might care about this that much, but a couple of years ago, we've always run a very, very frugal amount of ad spend. And when we got into more products that work for people that aren't just photographers, right? Basically, we have an incredible source of loyal fan base with respect to the photography community. We know that when we put high quality products out there, photographers and people who have shown up on Kickstarter are going to find their way to them. But you've seen some campaigns we've had, like for mobile, right? Under the very accurate assumption that, we're changing the mood lighting. Oh, wow. Interesting.
I believe they're going to bring up a bean spill counter.
They're
on the
gonna.
right-hand
Is that
side
what
of
they're
the
gonna
screen.
do? I see. Okay.
We're at like 7 right now.
Okay. Exciting. Exciting. We took a crack at actually spending more on marketing just to see what that would do for us from an awareness standpoint. And we're a couple years into that experiment, and honestly, we're gonna go back to the way we did it before. And where we have a really limited spend on advertising and things like that. And I think that's very much getting back to our roots. And so those things are going to help. That's certainly going to help improve our cash flow. Happy to answer any of those types of questions, though. I find it to be people who know me to be a pretty darn transparent person, hence all the bean spilling. But happy to share that with this backing crew, because you guys really are our lifeblood here. No doubt about it.
This isn't a question, but I've noticed a lot of people in the comments referring to Eclipse as the red color, but I've always kind of thought of it as more purple. So I'm just wondering if you guys can kind of speak to the actual color and maybe show it where it falls on the red-purple spectrum.
This one's tough. We originally called it fudge.
Yeah.
So I want to say it definitely leans, and you can still tell here from this image that it's a lot darker than it would be on the photos. I would say it leans more to a maroon colorway as opposed to a red. So that's where I'm at with this colorway. I will say that it's my favorite colorway, and I think it's very unisex, and I think everyone feels the same way about it.
Yep. Amen.
That's all I got. We got 2 minutes left, so take them out, Pete.
More beans. More beans.
More beans. I ain't got any more beans.
I think those are all of the beans.
I got no more beans at the moment. Sorry, no Clarino loops coming at the moment.
Everybody is loving all of the beans.
People do like the beans. I like sharing the beans. I'm curious, how many people, or if anyone, was here for the live hangout, or excuse me, the Peak Design radio hour, where I put my phone number up on the screen. That was exciting. I actually had a really good time doing that, and I look forward to doing that again. That is, if we get positive feedback from it, which I think we did from the Instagram personally. That went pretty well. Anybody there saying that they saw that thing? Or is the Instagram crowd and the Kickstarter crowd completely different?
There's a little bit of a delay, but nobody's saying anything else.
Okay,
Everyone's
amazing.
chiming in on what they think the color is. Plum, wine red.
Okay.
Maybe you should
All right.
talk about colors and what those mean to you and the palette Peak Design.
Yeah, I think that I think that's a great point. Pete asked me to talk a little bit just about colors in general. I think that Peak Design has been like a kind of a black and gray company for a long time. And I definitely have a personal desire to just see us kind of express ourselves more. I mean, we're not going to do away with black colorways. We always know that you put a bunch of colors up there, it doesn't matter how many you put up there, black's still going to sell the best. But I think that there's a real beauty and an aesthetic to picking colors that is extremely kind of exemplary of how we want the brand to show up and to feel at any given moment. I love the colors of this outdoor line. I love the colors and the way that's permeated into the iPhone 16 and the Pixel cases. And I think that those who are watching can see more of that. You know, Peak Design has been so kind of frugal with our debuting of new colors throughout the years. Obviously, you saw us go very far down the coyote pathway. But I think that you might be able to see some more of our greatest hits in some more colors at some point next year. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun for folks. That's all I'll say about that. I think it's time. I'm getting the hook, folks. Thanks for coming in and hanging out for another Kickstarter Hangout number 13. It has been a pleasure, as always, as has this whole campaign. We'll see you real soon, okay? Take care.